Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics, who have books like Palace of the Golden Princess, and where you can find their books at pocketjackcomics.com, as well as they're being distributed through Philbo Distributions, which Phil Russell is a good friend of mine. So, go check out what he does there if you're trying to get your comic books distributed. But enough about that, because I have with me artist, tattooer, comic artist, sketch carter. We're going to coin that term right there, Matthew.
Sketch Carter.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on because obviously I am a Tops guy, and you do a lot of that stuff. You do a lot of sketch cards for Tops. You've done the comic work. Obviously, I also like Leaf Metal. I'm a big fan of their Animation, which you're working on. And I'm excited for what's coming next with that. And then you've done some other stuff too, but why don't you quickly introduce who you are? Because I kind of might have taken a little bit of the flame or your introduction out of you, but why don't you give us the quick introduction before we get into some of the cool stuff that you've done?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I draw sketch cards, comics when I can. Don't really get much time for that anymore. We're sketch cards and other stuff like that. Tattoo on the side. I mean, that's my day job essentially, but they're kind of hand in hand now.
So let's talk about this because we're going to primarily talk about a lot of the sketch stuff and some other stuff you do, but I do want to touch a little bit on the tattoo stuff because creating tattoos, and I don't have any, and I'm never going to get inked. It's not my thing. I'm terrified of needles. Right. Needles and bees scare the shit out of me. Those two things are very frightening, and I'm also extremely indecisive on what I would want. Because one day I would want one thing, and the next day I'd want another, and then I would wake up and say, "What the hell did I get on my hand there?" Right? It'd be terrible. But what is that like? Because I believe that in order to tattoo, and I don't know if it's a prerequisite, and maybe I'm speaking ignorant here, but you have to be somewhat artistic to do that and create a tattoo.
Definitely. I mean,
there's skill in there too, right? I mean, obviously there's skill because doing something on a human canvas versus on a piece of paper, you can make a mistake on one of those things that's not as serious as the other. But like, what is that like? Because that's what I think is interesting. I'm going to show some of your tattoo work in a second here, but like, how'd you get into that? Because those skills do translate over, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've been drawing ever since I could pick up a pencil, and like I went to school for graphic design and everything. And actually, it wasn't later until like probably 28, 29. I'm 46 now. And got into tattooing. Basically, my apprenticeship was like super short. It was weird. It was pretty much kind of learned how to build a machine, tear it down, all that kind of stuff. And like the next day it was like, here you go, tattoo one of your friends. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. And just kept doing it. And a couple months later, I was able to quit my job, started tattooing full time. And like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've been tattooing for 16 years now, almost 17. And yeah, it's wild. It's never a dull moment. And that was like what opened the door to everything else. So
I want to get into that. But I do want to show some of your tattoos because it's the least area that I'm an expertise in. It's the least. But obviously you've done some stuff like this, which is Grievous. And I love General Grievous. If there's one show that I will ever write for Disney, it is General Grievous's backstory. So you've done that, and he's a troubled individual who's been screwed in life. But you've done that one. I believe this one's personal to you, very much, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was my wife. That was like the tattoo that she had, and it was a long time coming on my part. I was like supposed to fix it like a long time ago, and finally got to it last week. So, but
And
yeah.
then there's a few others. There's a few others that
Oh yeah.
obviously more Star Wars stuff.
Yep.
That one you've done something like this, which is sick.
Hmm.
I mean
Thank you.
that's a masterpiece, and I don't know how much of all of that was yours, but I know the ship I think was yours on that at the minimum.
Everything except for the dog.
So I mean
And
that's a pretty fucking big back piece.
oh yeah, that was we had many hours into that. And this wasn't even like the finished piece, like um yeah, all of that, like I think when I did that picture, the treasure chest and everything's not finished. Um yeah, I mean, I would say, God, I probably got like 40 hours or so into that.
And then there's a few more I want to show, obviously. And then we got this right here, which I think is
Yep.
Mega Man. So obviously this pop culture vibe in
Yep.
there. And that's like a little banger right there. I don't think that's as aggressive as that back piece. You know, that took at least 60 hours, right? This one, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I do a lot of different styles. That was kind of one thing, like getting into tattooing, um, especially in the area that I was in around that time, like didn't get a lot of choices on what I was gonna do. Um, which helped me, like in my career now, was learning all these different styles. I was doing like lettering and like Japanese style and like new school, and but I was always like the nerdy one in the group. And over time, it just like that kind of became my thing. And now I mean, most of the stuff I do now is like pretty big, like full color pieces, a lot of comic book stuff, anime, movies, like.
So let me ask you this, in which that obviously, and look, I'm not the expert on this, so again, I might be speaking ignorantly here, but I think tattooing has evolved in a lot of ways. Where I think
Oh
it
yeah.
used to be like a bikers club, hardcore shop thing, and
Yeah,
then now,
when I first started, it was like the old school, you know, loud machines and everything like that. Um, Now we've got like wireless machines and aftercare is different. Everything, the inks are better. All that stuff is yeah, it's crazy. Though I used to work like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon till like midnight, and now it's more of a 9 to 5 kind of thing.
because
And
the reason why I bring this up is that I think also now it used to, and maybe I'm wrong here, but you know, obviously getting an anime tattoo, 20 years ago that was
oh yeah,
abnormal, right? Now, if you're getting Batman on your shoulder or a Batman or a comic sleeve, and you went to a comic shop, you're not going to be looked at like weird, funny, right? I mean, it's a little
right.
bit more normal, right? Like
Oh yeah,
versus 20 years ago, it's like, what the fuck is this? I mean
yeah. I
that's
would.
just
It, yeah, it was crazy because like yeah, back then when I first started, I would never, maybe like the occasional like Batman logo or like a Superman logo or something, but like that was like it. Like you weren't gonna be doing like a whole like Marvel sleeve or anything like that.
because the reason why I bring this up is that it kind of leads, I think, into what you're doing now with all this
Yep.
sketch card stuff. And how did that transition happen? Because 20 years ago, I mean, I don't know exactly the whole history of cards, but I don't know if sketch cards were even around 20 years ago by Tops and by Upper Deck and by potentially other places. But obviously that's a newer thing. But like, there's definitely, I feel, I wouldn't say a crossover, but a shift. But like, how did you get involved? Because you do a lot of work for Tops, and
Yeah.
we're going to
So
talk about a lot of it. So like, how did that all happen? Because kind of coincided, as you alluded to this whole pop culture tattooing, and they're sort of in the same lane, I
Right.
think.
So yeah, I started off like I was like self-publishing comics with friends and that kind of thing, and then started just kind of like doing comic cons and stuff, selling prints and selling the comic books that I was doing, and like I think it was like the second one that I'd ever done, and I don't even remember who it was, but somebody came up to me and they're like, "You should draw fucking cards for Star Wars." I'm like, "Okay." Like, you ever thought about it? And I was like, "No." Like, I never thought that that would be even an option for me at that point. So the guy gave me like the email for Tops, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll shoot him an email, see what happens." And they had me do, I think it was like 3 like test pieces. So I did those, and then it was, gosh, maybe a week later, I think they emailed me and was just like, "Yeah, we'll bring you on board." And I was like, "No fucking way. Like, I'm going to draw cards for Star Wars. Like, this is sweet." Like, never, never pictured any of that happening. And then, yeah, it was, I think the first set they had me do was, I think the 40th anniversary. And I had to do like 100 cards or something, and it took forever. And yeah, like, and then it just kept going from there. It was like more Star Wars stuff, and then it was like Walking Dead.
So let's talk a little bit about the Star Wars stuff because I got some of them out here, and I'm not exactly sure where they all fall in, but we got some Anakin that
Yep.
you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you've done Baby Yoda or Groot. You know,
Grogu.
yeah, right there. Obviously you've done Ahsoka Tona.
Yep.
You know, and Princess Leia. You know,
Yep.
we got that one in there. We got all of these in here, which are a bunch.
Oh yeah.
And then we got this in here, which is also, Galactic Files. We got some Lando in there because we got Grievous in there that you've done. And you got Ray. And so what is, I mean, and these are just a few. I mean, you got hundreds of these.
Oh
And
yeah.
so what is
Probably,
this like
probably
for you?
thousands at this point.
Yeah. So what is this like for you though? Because obviously you're doing sketch cards
Mm-hmm.
for Tops for Star Wars,
Yep.
and Star Wars is a multi-generational property,
Oh yeah.
and so what is that like? Because you're playing in their world, you're doing art for a cool project, you're working for Tops, and I don't know how many people get to work on Star Wars, but it's not a lot in reality.
Right. Yeah, I think like, yeah, it's great, but it's like, at the same time, I've been drawing for Star Wars for over 10 years now, I think. And it's I've definitely had to like step my game up quite a bit. I used to do just like hundreds of cards per set and everything, and it got to a point where I was like, it got boring because I was just like drawing the same thing over and over again. Um, and at that time too, it was like very little pay. I mean, not saying that you're gonna be rich drawing sketch cards or anything, because yeah, money's not the greatest. It's definitely more for the love and passion of doing these cards. I would say definitely a bit of the, like, especially with Star Wars, a lot of the craziness, like being like, "Oh my god, I get to do this." Like, a lot of that's worn off.
So let me ask you this, and sorry to cut you off, but obviously, when you're doing sketch cards, it's not a lot of money's in there. But obviously, depending on the company, they sometimes send you APs, artist proofs, and then that whole thing is its own entity. But you can, if you get an artist proof, and then it gets approved by Tops, it's essentially a commission, and you can charge whatever you want and
Yep.
charge whatever you want, and that's where some of the money is. It's also, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, to a degree, it can be a resume builder because if you're drawing cards for Star Wars and you're drawing it for Chrome or 40th anniversary or Smuggler's Bounty, and then you're at a Comic Con, it could affect your commission rate in a lot of
Oh yeah.
ways because, all of a sudden you are a sketch artist from Tops. You're not just, an artist at an artist alley anymore. And
Right.
then, there's other stuff. And then there's also a perceived value because if you're, I mean, I'll just say the dirty part aloud is that if one of your sketch cards out of one of these Star Wars packs is going for $300 on eBay, well, that sets the tone of what your sketches
Yep.
should go for. And it
Right.
definitely, I mean, I hate to quantify your artwork. Like, I hate to do that publicly, right? But like,
Right.
there is something where all of a sudden, if you know that a sketch or a particular character that you do goes for X, it definitely sets a rate for everybody else if they want something done
Right.
right. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, please,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's crazy. Yeah, I've seen some of my cards, go for on eBay like it's a pretty wide range. I've seen them go from like $10 to like thousands of dollars, depending on what it is. Even like some of the APs that I've done for like, especially I would say MLB, those ones go very high very quick. Especially if you got like the right player or anything like, if you get an AP and you draw Shohei Otani, like, that thing's gonna be gone instantly for quite a large
This,
amount. Yep.
this one. So there you go, right?
Yep.
So yeah, because the reason why I bring this up is that I think people forget that sometimes the value also isn't necessarily you being paid, you know, $20 a sketch card or $5 a sketch card. It's the idea that you're now working for Tops and that
Right.
there's stuff out there and that it is a resume builder in many regards. And,
Yep.
and there's a lot of potential that could happen from there. And then also you're in Tops' system, which I know sounds weird to say. And I'm not saying you should work for clout, right? That's not what I'm trying to get at. But to
Right.
some degree, you need an entry point into a company. But it's also the idea that, I mean, I don't know if you've opened up Pact and you've ever pulled a sketch card
Oh yeah.
yourself.
Yep.
So it's a lot of fun when you do that. I pulled
Right.
one out of a Disney Wonderland set back last year. And it's a blast. It's a blast. Like I was super excited for it. And I'm like, this card looks broken. What the fuck is this shit? And then I flip it over and like I wasn't eager. I'm like, this seems like an error card. And then I'm like, oh shit, I pulled the sketch. It's like one out of every 2,000 boxes.
Yeah,
So
I actually had a buddy of mine, which this was kind of a cool story. Uh, it was years ago when Tops was doing Walking Dead and everything. I did quite a few sets of Walking Dead. My buddy that I grew up with, it was last year. He had found one of at one of the card shops around here or something, and had found some like Walking Dead boxes or whatever, or he seen it online, bought one, and keep in mind, like he lives, 10 miles away from me, and started breaking the box. He called me. He's just like, "Holy shit! I just pulled one of your fucking sketches." And I've known this dude since we were like kids. Like we were probably like 12, 13 years old. And he's a big collector of my stuff. Anyways, like you know, if I have APs or whatever, he's usually like one of the guys that's like, let me get it. And pretty awesome.
So let me ask you this, because obviously the card world has changed.
Hold on,
It-
I think I just lost about. I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. There we go. It's all good.
Okay, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay,
So,
yeah. An alarm went off on my phone and it cut out the volume.
so what I was asking is that, obviously the car world has changed a lot,
Yeah.
and there's something called break spots, and breakers are, it's very complicated, right? It's not just selling products; it's also social media. And when you have a sketch card and it's pulled, you know, sometimes you might be tagged in the short of it, and
Yep.
sometimes you're not tagged in it. But what is that like? Because that's also a whole different ball game now. Because if you're an artist and your sketch card is pulled and then it's cut up by a big breaker, and that thing now gets 5,000 views, that's 5,000 potential people who now know who you as an artist. And
Yep.
I'm not saying that pays your bills, but it also doesn't hurt you. It only helps
Right.
you on social
Oh yeah.
media. And I mean, I think you've had that with a few cards from the Toy Story set that just happened when people pulled it or got it out of boxes live on a stream. And
Right.
it's kind of, I don't know what that's exactly worth, but like that also changes the game a lot. So I'm curious how you
Yeah.
feel about it, because
It's it's crazy. It's like this past year I feel like has been the most change that I've seen, at least for me. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and like last year, I went to the Nationals um, to do the Star Wars trade night, and it was out in Chicago. And yeah, we get there, and it's just like all of a sudden, like all these people know who I am and everything, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, people are all like excited to meet me, and I'm like, wow, like didn't really know what to do or say or anything like that. And, and then just like since then, just seeing more of like the stuff with like whatnot and, people live breaks, pulling sketches, that kind of thing. And then even like with me doing my own whatnot and selling cards and like doing live sketches, which I haven't done in quite a while. I think like December was the last one I did. Um, but yeah, it's not what it was 10 years ago. Like now I have people that I tattoo and they come get tattoos because of cards that they've pulled or, stuff that they've seen online. Um, and it's just, yeah, it's crazy. It's like I'll talk to people that I'm tattooing and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we've been collecting cards and this and that." And you know, I help coach my son's baseball team and stuff too, and like just hear so many crazy stories of like it's like everybody collects cards now. Like that wasn't a thing when I started. Like there was like it was a very like niche audience, but like now it's just everybody. You see like videos of celebrities like breaking boxes and everything now too, and it's just yeah, it's wild.
let's dive into this a little bit too, and go further into it, because obviously you've done stuff. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Obviously, you've done a bunch of stuff for Disney. You've done the Toy Story 30th anniversary set, and that one stung. That one stung. I missed out on that one. I applied on an EQL for a whole case, and I didn't get it, and it
Oh man.
stung because, and I'm not the only one who it stung for, but you can't win them all. You can't win them all. But it's a great product. Every box is 30 cards. There's $210, and just for those who don't know anything about it, and you get an autograph and you get a sketch in there, and it's a great product. It's a great product. But what is that like? Because it's Toy Story, and I mean, you've done Forky, you've done Woody, you've done Stinky Pete, you've done the Ham, you've done Jesse, and you've done Buzz Lightyear, and you've done everybody in between. I think you've done Lasso. You've done at least like 50 of them, at least of these. And so, what is that like to play in Toy Story? Because how many people also get to play in Toy Story on its 30th anniversary? I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I did. I don't remember. I think it was Disney Neon, maybe before that. So I
love Disney Neon. I broke a hobby box out, and I got a Scrooge McDuck relic.
Nice.
I was so excited. But we can talk about that too, because I love Disney Neon is the best Disney set that's come out in the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I mean, I got to play around with Toy Story in there a little bit for the Pixar cards, and so, but yeah, no, it's always fun. Like, it's been like anytime a new like franchise gives an opportunity to do stuff like this, like I feel like that's always the most fun. It's like that first time getting to do it. So like even with like say Tops, I bugged them forever to get in on sports. So like I don't even remember, it was not last year but the year before, and I had gotten an email. And I was like screaming. I was like, "Yeah, yeah!" And my son's just like, "Dad, stop yelling! What are you doing? What are you going on about?" And it's just like, I got to do Major League Baseball cards. I was like, "This is freaking crazy."
So I want to talk about that, because I think obviously I don't know. So obviously Disney owns Star Wars, but Star Wars is not the same as Marvel.
Right.
But by any stretch of the imagination, they are two separate companies completely, meaning that Darth Vader is never going to be next to Captain America fighting something, or maybe Vader's a bad example. Dr. Doom and Vader are not teaming up, is my point. Right. I want to make that crystal clear, everybody. But where I'm going with this is that obviously Disney has a lot of control over Star Wars. They have control over obviously their Disney Little Mermaid. And I don't know the whole process on what you can and can't draw, but I think it's the basics. You can't draw Ariel topless. I'm sorry. It's not going to work. And nor do I think Topps wants to push that out there, even if they could do it. I don't think they would push it. Not to put you in a bad spot when I say that, but I think it's a pretty basic position. But
because it's meant to be for all ages, you know? Like, it's not.
Continue.
You know, there's certain things even with like Star Wars, like you're not gonna pull a card where like Han Solo's got his blaster facing you, you know, like it's just not gonna happen. Like this stuff has to be appropriate for all ages.
Because the reason why I bring it up is that when you're doing Major League Baseball, and I know you've done a Pete Alonso card, and I'm a Mets fan, but he's
me too. That was actually part of that when I got the email about doing MLB. I was watching the game that the Mets won to get into the wild card. So I was watching that. I was all pumped because I was just like, yeah, my boys just made it into the wild card. And all of a sudden I look at my phone and it's just like, boom. You get
a double header, right?
Yeah.
This was the doubleheader in Atlanta. And so they won the first game. And
Yep.
then he basically sat everybody else out in the second game. They stuck their middle finger up at the Diamondbacks, essentially, and the Braves won the second game. And the real issue of the whole thing, it was because that was when the hurricane hit, and they had to delay that game, and it screwed everybody over in the Diamondbacks because depending on who won, it would have decided what team wanted to go, where they were going to go. Right? It was a mess.
Yep. But yeah, no, that was fun.
But the reason why I bring this up is that obviously, Pete Alonso has a likeness and he has an NIL to him. And I'm not saying that Ariel from The Little Mermaid also doesn't have an NIL, but she's also not a real person. I mean, I want to make that crystal clear here. Like, I'm not trying, that's not me when I say it, but like a cartoon is not the same as a baseball player,
Right.
And so what is that like? Because I think that I don't know how to describe it any other way, but I don't know if there has to be more care or certain things can or cannot be done because obviously Topps has the license to baseball, so you can show their logos. Panini doesn't have the license to baseball, so you can't put the New York Mets on a Panini card.
Yep. Same with Leaf and all that. Yep. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's crazy. I think mainly because like with like baseball and stuff like that, the likeness has to be there. So those cards take a lot more time. Like when I'm doing like a portrait like that, I've gone from like like a garbage pail kids card, like I can knock out in like 20 minutes, but like like that Soto, like you could be looking at 4 to 8 hours, and even I mean some people, there's some artists where it's a week or so to do a card like that.
Also, and I'll say this is that there's certain players that you just know from a mile away. I mean, I showed the Ohtani before, but it's Ohtani.
Yep.
It's Ohtani. You could put this a mile away, and I'll know it's Ohtani, right? I might not know if the likeness is of this player. Yeah. So like that's the point I'm making. But I know who Ellie De La Cruz is. He's hard to miss.
Right.
You know. So like I would imagine certain cards are easier than others.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Brandon Nimmo that you've done. Brandon Nimmo is a very recognizable player.
Yeah.
But like same thing with Pete Alonso, Aaron Judge. If you don't know who Aaron Judge is and you're a baseball fan, you got a problem. You can't pick out Aaron Judge in a lineup. So if Aaron Judge committed a murder and he's in the lineup and you can't figure out who Aaron Judge is, you got a problem.
Right.
I'm just saying right off the top of my head. But all jokes aside, I would imagine that when you're – because also, I mean, Little Mermaid, going back to Little Mermaid versus Pete Alonso, you could – if you don't nail Pete Alonso, it can be mistaken for a lot of other people technically.
Right. Yep. Yeah, because he's a very like people like Alonso and Tarek Skubal and stuff like they're very plain, kind of like I don't know. There's not a lot of like distinguishing features there. It's not like like you said, like I mean even Shohei too, like there's not a lot of distinguishing features. It's not like Tatis or De La Cruz or some of those guys, like Nimmo, like where they just have, or even like Bryce Harper too, like with his beard and those just more distinguishable characteristics. Though the ones that do have those distinguishable characteristics are a lot easier to draw, like for me at least, where like people like Alonso or Scooble, like that's going to take some more time. Like I can't just like sketch in a beard or
because I mean the reason why I bring this up is that obviously I think sketching a real person is harder than in many ways sketching a Disney character, and also I think you might have more creative freedom with a Disney character. I mean you can add a background. I mean we're going to talk about something and we're we're going to talk about it in maybe 2 or 3 down from here, but Ultraman stuff, right? I'm a
Yep.
big fan of Richard Card Parks, and I'm really excited for his Ultraman Series 5 stuff. But like some of those sketch cards that come out of it, they're drawing like a kaiju in the background, an Ultraman fighting a kaiju. And you can do that. You can't draw with Alonzo Godzilla in the background. Like,
Right,
I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Topps would be fine with it if it's fitting, but
Right.
even still, right? Like, I don't know. Like, but like if you're drawing a headshot, I mean, you got so that's my point. But those cards are sick, right? I mean, they're awesome, and that's why I bring this up is that, and I find it fascinating. And then you've done stuff with soccer as well. I think you've done a few soccer stuff also, and like because that stuff is just as cool as the Disney stuff. Even though, and look, I love sports. I'm a big card collector. I spend a lot of money on this stuff. But it's crazy to me. It's crazy because I would much prefer a Disney sketch than an Alonzo sketch personally.
Okay.
I just love like
Right.
Disney stuff personally in my personal collection, but that's just my personal positioning on that. But again, I find it fascinating, in that regard. And then the other stuff I want to talk about that it's not my cup of tea, and I don't get it. But V Friends, that to me is its own beast. And
It's gaining ground, man. When I first
I don't get it.
when
I
I
don't get
first
it.
when
I'm
I
sorry.
first did it, like that's where I was with it. I was like, this is kind of dumb. Like I don't, like I have no idea what any of these characters are. I went into it completely blind. I ended up buying a few cards, kind of checking it out, whatnot, and like, but honestly, I've when the series 1 came out, I posted the work that I did, and I didn't expect anybody to even like my post. And yeah, that's kind of how it sat for a couple days, and then all of a sudden, boom, just erupted. And then I got to meet like Gary V at Nationals and everything, and seeing like the hype around it, and it's crazy.
So the reason why I bring this up is that maybe it's just because I am a card collector, and I focus narrowly down, right? So I tend to stick with Disney, and I tend to stick with almost Major League Baseball and a little bit basketball. And once you narrow down to those 2 sectors and WWE, like there's no money for anything else. And so that's my whole thing. It's like I'm not anti V Friends. It's just like I don't actively go after it because it's just something that I'm not gonna collect, right? Because my focus is on really 3, maybe 3, 4 sectors, and I'm a big WNBA guy. Won't be, but like, and so like it's maybe that I don't get it because I'm not pursuing it, but I recognize that people love it. I recognize that there's obviously a market for it. I'm not saying don't go buy it, but it's not something that I personally collect. Just because I have 4 sectors that I'm playing with, and I'm tapped out. If that makes any sense. With that. But having said that, obviously, I want to show some of your sketches that you've done. So we got these 9 here, which are cool. We got a bunch more here, which are also great. And we have that cute little elephant here. And what the hell was this about? Because not to say it that, I'm sorry, not to say it like that, not aggressively. That wasn't very elephant to me, was it? But it wasn't very empathetic of me, might I say? What is your reaction to seeing this graded? Because it must. I don't know what your reaction is because it's so interesting when you see a card getting graded.
What's even crazier about that is that thing is on eBay right now for 10 grand. 10 grand. And it just blows my mind. Like I don't even know. Like, and I've seen some of my V Friends cards go for thousands of dollars, and I'm just like, blown away because I had no idea what I was doing when I did those cards. I mean, I was stepping into it completely blind and didn't, like, obviously I didn't spend much time on them. It wasn't, like I wasn't drawing, a portrait of Bryce Harper or something like that, where the card took me 4 or 5 hours to draw. Like it, yeah, it's crazy. It's
What is that like for you? Because on the one hand, you must be like, this is pretty cool if somebody
oh
buys this
yeah,
for 10 grand. On the other hand, you must be like, God damn it, this is
yeah.
my work. And what the hell? Like, because I would be torn on it, right? Like, if this was my stuff. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, it's crazy too because it's just like you see that happen and you're like, I don't even remember what like the pay was for that set or anything like that, and I'm not really going to disclose that kind of stuff. But you know, you say, okay, I got paid 10, $15 to draw this card, and then it's like selling for thousands, and you're like, damn, why did I get paid that much?
Did you also feel that? I mean, in which that I mean, I have questions, and I don't know if you have questions that I have with cards in general. But I'm like, this is going for 10 grand. Like, who has that type of money? And I have legit questions about this, right?
there's 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 collectors out there with a lot of money. I've seen some crazy stuff go down.
I'm sure. I mean, look, you know what it is. I mean, maybe it's because I'm 33 and I choose to fund my Roth IRA and I'm saving up
Right.
for a house. And maybe I'm not at the stage where if I wasn't saving up for a house and I wasn't funding my
Mhm.
Roth IRA and actively investing in the stock market, maybe I also would have a lot of money to play on collections.
Right.
But like, but it always baffles me, right? Because I'm like, people have 10K to buy a card. Like, I bought cards for a good amount of money, but like, I consider an expensive card right now about $500 for me, right?
Right.
That to me is an expensive card, and I don't think that that's an inexpensive card. But I look at stuff on eBay, I'm like 10, 20. I've seen like $35,000 cards, and I'm just like, it always baffles me. And maybe, I'm not saying don't spend your money. I don't tell anybody how to spend their money. Don't think
Right.
anybody should think that. But like, it always just confuses me, and I'm just like, and then when it sells for that, I'm like, damn.
Right.
Who's doing this and what is it, like a Wall Street person, or is it just like a trust fund kid, or is it just somebody who just like it always baffles me, and so I was just curious what you thought because you
Well,
know
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself like an avid collector or anything. Not, I mean, not of cards. I'll buy boxes or packs or stuff, like that I've worked on, just to kind of see and like, I enjoy, you know, ripping open a pack and seeing what I get and whatnot. But I don't like, if I'm like me personally, I'm more into collecting comic books and like Funko Pops and stuff like that. And but yeah, like 10 grand and be be like, damn, like I could use that to put down on a house or something.
yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I'm nervous to buy a $500 card. I mean, I bought a $300 card a little while ago, and then I wound up flipping it. But I was nervous about buying a $300 card. I had to think about it for a
Mm-hmm.
good like hour before I bought it. Like, it
Yep.
wasn't just something like, and I'm not saying $300 is not 10 grand, but it's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so again, it just baffles me. And again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. It's not my 10 grand. So
Right.
if it's your 10 grand, you can do whatever the hell you want to do, everybody. That's totally up to you.
I
But
I just tend to think about it like they've got enough money that 10 grand to them is $300 to us.
I
And
guess I mean,
that's the only way that it makes sense to me. Is just like they have enough money that a purchase like that isn't that big of a deal.
or they
Because
just really want the card, or they just really want the card, and they don't care. It's one or the other.
right, yeah, yep.
But
I wouldn't personally spend 10 grand on a card, but I
I'll be
appreciate the people that do. You know, like I think it's
oh, of
cool. I
course.
mean, it's good. It's good for for the hobby and for the artists and all that stuff. Like, cool. Like I totally get it. But like me, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like,
again. Look, I'm not one to complain because I pulled cards for like $5, and then they're like $1,200 card. So I mean, I have a Stephanie Volcare auto card that was
right.
pulled out of a drop from Tops. That's like a $1,200 card. So and people are willing to spend $1,200 for it. So I completely get it, right?
Yep.
But also people lowball me and they're like, I'll give you $2 for it too. So that's always fun. That's always a fun one when people laugh at you and then one of them sells for $1,200. You're like, I got one too that's better than this one. It's
Right.
always wonderful when that happens. But I digress right there. Because I do want to talk about the Ultraman stuff because Richard Parks has a Kickstarter going on. It's 2 days left. And these are some of your Ultraman stuff that you've done.
No.
What?
Oh, I'm not working on this new set.
Oh no! These are yours though, right?
But yes, those are mine.
Oh, thank God! I thought I did something wrong here. I thought I
No, you're good.
Please don't do that. I'm already nervous enough in life, and I'm like, did I fuck up just now? Did I misrepresent an artist? Just
no, yeah, that was I think Series 4. And I've never really been big into Ultraman, so, and I don't really know a lot of people that are. Like, I'm still sitting on most of those artist proofs. Like, I still have them. So if anybody watching would like to buy one, I still have them. At least I think 3 of them left. But yeah, it was a fun little project to do. But lately now it doesn't pay enough. And the artist proofs don't sell, so like for me it's harder to agree to do stuff like that anymore unless there's I'm getting paid a decent amount to do them, which I do still do. Like I do a lot of stuff for smaller companies. I've been me and another one of my good artist friends, Eric Medina, give him a shout out here. He's helped me a lot, like getting in with a lot of these, newer companies and that kind of thing.
You do a lot of work for a horror signature, right?
Yes, and that was through Eric. And then like Masterpiece Cards, I've been doing stuff for them through Eric. In his Medina 11 Studios kind of thing. He's got a bunch of artists that he gets together to, work with companies and that kind of thing. And he kind of does everything. So he's pretty fucking awesome. He's helped me immensely.
So, I mean, obviously, and I don't know where this fits into this, or this just might be a fun one for you, but we got to talk about the card that you've done, in my opinion, and it's this one right here.
Okay. Yep.
This is the card. I mean, so what's the story behind this? Because I don't know if this was through a company, this was something that was just a one-off, or I forget who it was for exactly, but it's Charizard. It's an awesome card. It's a lot of fun. It's Pokemon. It's the Pokemon to do, right? I mean, it's that or Pikachu.
Right.
And so, like, what's the story behind this? Because, I mean, everybody wants a Charizard, right?
I believe that was Case Hitman, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that.
I think it
But
was. I think it was.
that was kind of Eric had some of those that needed to get done, and he just we were on the phone. He was like, "Hey, you want to do one of these?" I was like, "Sure, fuck it, send it to me." And yeah, so yeah, no, it was a fun card to do. I'm honestly kind of wondering when Pokemon's going to throw their hat in the ring with this stuff. I feel like it has to happen at some point.
Oh, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. You
Yep.
open oh, it would break them though. But I don't know if they want to do it either though. I mean, they do so much right
Right.
now, and their next big push is in September at McDonald's, which is their own thing, which is going to be sick. I mean, Pokemon cards in your Happy Meal. I mean, how can you go wrong? I
Yep.
mean, I'm a big 4-year-old. I can tell you that. I mean, I'm gonna buy like 20 Happy Meals.
Right.
Because who doesn't want Pikachu, eating a hamburger? I'm just saying, if you've seen that card, it's an amazing card.
Oh,
But it's funny. It's funny, and I forgot who said it. It might have been Marsh on the Phillies. He said, "You never see Pikachu getting a DWI."
right.
You never see Pikachu getting a DWI. Charizard never complains about being injured. I mean, I'm just saying that. So, but I do want to actually get into the card stuff, in which that obviously, I mean, more into it though about you doing sketches is that obviously, because we alluded to before, but there's the clout of working on projects and working on properties, and then there's the artist proofs, which is what I think. What is it? Is the Metal Universe Upper Deck?
Yeah. Yep.
Again, I'm the least familiar with that. There's just only so much I can know, but I know Upper Deck because I was speaking with Scott James, and he does sketch cards, and those artist proofs, and Doug Hill does sketch cards too, and it's those artist proofs that you can basically, it's a commission, and you can sell them for anywhere from 3 to 500 or more, depending on what you're doing, and if you get 4 or 5 artist proofs of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, like, that's where the real money is.
Oh
Some
yeah.
sketch, especially if it's the character, because there's only a 1-on-1 of it, and
Right.
essentially, then it's certified right by Upper Deck if they approve the 1-on-1, right? It's like almost certified, and it's technically like an official Upper Deck card.
Yep. Yep. That's yeah. It's crazy. Like Tops doesn't do much with artist proofs anymore. I think it's only sports and Garbage Pail Kids. They don't do them anymore for like Star Wars or anything like that. So most of which is hard, I think, being an artist, like that, like you said, that's where you make a lot of the money. And you see like the smaller companies, or like the Upper Deck and Leaf, and giving out artist proofs or like masterpiece cards, or like whoever, like they all do it. Richard Parks.
I mean, I bought an artist proof. I bought one for $100. It was cool. It was Ultraman. I don't know who the
Right.
artist was. I forgot who the artist did, but he basically offered a bunch of these APs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're great. And I mean, there's some good people working there, and some of those APs are good, and they're like $100.
Yep.
And it's not bad. I mean, I love the art of the one I bought. I don't know who it was. I just like the art.
Right.
But it's a nice piece in my collection from Series
Mhm.
4. So
Yep.
like, I mean that's my whole thing. But I love Ultraman in particular, and if he's offering them again, absolutely, depending on who the artist is,
Well,
because
I got some if you want some.
Right now, my bank account is taking a hit at the moment, but I'm not opposed eventually. But right now, my bank account's a mess. I'm taking a break in which that is
Right.
it's been a rough few months.
Yep.
And I don't want somebody to kill me in my house for
Right.
spending so much money. Um, and also, is I want to move some stuff
Yep.
before,
Oh yeah.
um, and also the playoffs are a nightmare in the NBA, but that's neither here nor there. Just oh my god, the fucking Pistons. I don't want to talk about it. Um, that whole series just wrecked me. That whole series just wrecked me. And last night almost wrecked me too. Oh my god. God bless James Harden. God bless James Harden. He is the greatest Knick of all time. I can tell you that. James Harden could be a Knick for life. He's not on the bench. We're good. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love James Harden too. But I digress right there. I don't want to get you or me in trouble because next thing you know, you're gonna get watch this. The next assignment's gonna be James Harden cards by Leaf Metal. Just watch. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. You're gonna be like, "How'd you predict it, man?" Oh, it's gonna be
Right.
great. But I do want to talk about Leaf Metal because I will show you my favorite Leaf Metal that you did not work on. I want to make this crystal clear, but this is the type of product Leaf Metal puts out, everybody. It is a
Yeah.
John Cena Leaf Metal, and this was the end of Series 1. Now, you're doing Series 3, and I'm going to show
Yep.
Series 3. This is what you're working on.
Yep.
And so Series 1 and Series 2, I think were done by the same person. And then you're now doing Series 3. And so how did you get involved with them? Because I love Anime Nation. I love it. I think it's the best alternative, right? Because it's
Hmm.
fun. It's just fun. It's creative. It's a blast. And I'm not thrilled with the 3 format, but it's not the worst thing in the world either.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I was starting to do sketch cards for them, and uh, CJ, the guy I work through them, like he just kind of hit me up and asked me. He's like, "Oh, you do like digital art and stuff too, right?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," and did some for him, and we got a lot of work. We've got a lot in coming up, so I'll just not gonna say too much. I'm just gonna tell you if you appreciate and enjoy my art on that, like
I'm gonna ask you.
there's more. There's more.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask a question, and I think it's a safe question to ask. They run them where it's a drop, whether it's a week or every 2 weeks, whatever it is, and then they're typically numbered from 199 or 99 down, and then the way it works and is that so you buy one and it's I think $50 or $60. I forget the price point. You get all 3 cards. All 3 cards have the same number and the same parallel type. So
Yep.
if you get a 75 and it's going to be number 15 out of 75 on all 3 cards. So
Yep.
it's a matching set. And then it's a matching parallel. But it's all randomly assigned. And then it's a drop. So in theory, it could be that they have X amount of cards. But I think this one is 199. I think it's 99 and downward. But if you get the one-on-ones, that was randomly assigned, all 3 of your cards are a one-on-one
Right.
in there, or it's a 1 of 10, or it's a like I pulled an Aaron Judge.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know too much about
That's not a secret.
I just started with Leaf. Over the past few months.
That's the product parameter. I'm
Okay.
describing the product parameter. So
Yeah.
the reason why I'm bringing it up is that so that when my audience watches this, because I'm a customer of them, right?
Right.
I'm a big customer of Leaf. And on a personal, because I think they're fun cards to have, and they add diversity to my collection. So I know that I really well. So I'm letting my audience know the parameter of the product because I know this product well enough, and it's a great product, and they're shiny, they're fun. I mean, I think you got your promo cards. They look like your promo cards, but they're all numbered and they're all individually numbered. It's great.
Right.
It's an awesome product. It's a lot of fun, and some of this stuff is worth good money. Like the Otanis are worth good money that they've done. I think like my Aaron Judge 10s are worth money. You know, but it's great because you get all 3 cards, right?
Right.
For $50, and it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I actually like, I got the promos or whatever, but like that being my first set with them was like, I think it was the day they came out. I went on there and bought a pack because I was just like, I don't, I've only done a couple other like base cards.
Because it's also fun because it comes in a sealed pack.
Yep.
So you don't even know what you're opening, and then you open it, and then you're surprised. Oh, I don't want to say it's a blind box because you're getting the 3 players. You just don't know what variation you're getting of the 3 players.
Yep.
It's a blast, but like obviously, I mean, to go further, and you alluded to it. I'm not going to press you on who's coming out. We know James Harden's coming this year. No, I'm joking. But one of the things is that obviously I think there's more that are going to be coming. Is that a safe assumption?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I mean this is like at least there's 26 weeks of this, if not more. At least. I mean, I'm under the assumption because they run it in a season essentially, right? I think is how it's done. And
I'm
athletes
not sure how all that works yet. I just know that I'm doing a lot of stuff for them.
I'm trying not to push you.
That's pretty damn cool. And I am having an absolute blast working with them.
The reason why I'm asking all of this is that this is a little bit different because it's not the same. It's not a sketch card. And I wouldn't say it's mass production, but it's not miniature production either. But like, I mean, I'm taking an assumption here is that there's 300 or 400 sets being printed on each drop, essentially. So it's a weird one because it's a small subset, but it's not like a micro subset. I don't know how to explain that, right? So it's kind of a weird one because it's not like series 1 of Topps where 400,000 cards are being printed.
Right.
And so like, what is that like for you? Because it's kind of like a medium, print run to a degree. It's almost like an indie comic print run.
Yeah. Like I said, dude, it's a blast. I love working with them. That it's so much fun. It's been just an absolute pleasure. Man, I don't know. I don't even have words to explain. Like it's just fucking awesome. They're great guys, and it's cool. It's fun.
I mean, I love Leaf Metal. They've done a lot of cool stuff. Pop Century is fun. With that they've done. They're a fun company.
They're good people too. Like CJ, shout out to him because he's the fucking man. And they've treated me very fucking well. And yeah, it's a blast.
Because I mean they've done the Pop Century stuff, they've done the Mandy Rose, they've done Alicia Lehman. Obviously all these Anime Nation cards were fun. Deion Sanders was fun that they've done. They do blind packs that are cool. Pop Century. I mean, I got some weird Pop Century stuff. I got a Zoe Saldana from them and a Haley Steinfeld, which is awesome.
Nice,
super cool stuff. That's fun. Pop Century's a blast. And they got some funky stuff in there. They got some funky stuff. Some wild stuff. But I digress.
Even some of the sketch cards that I'm doing for them, when they like gave me the list, I was just like, "What? Really?" I was like, "Okay, run it."
I don't even know where they put their sketch cards. So the way I buy their product is that I usually just buy like a drop, right? So like I'll buy like an Anime Nation drop, but like I won't buy like a Vivid Baseball or anything like that, or like a Pop Century box. I'm just buy the drop of it.
Mhm.
But like that's just how I buy it because I really like particular things they drop.
Right.
But Leaf Metal is just a really, really, really funky, cool, weird company. Like they did
Mhm.
pickleball, like
Yep.
pickleball cards, and apparently that
Oh
stuff's
yeah, I
fun.
know, dude. It was crazy because it was like I didn't even realize that until like I had a buddy of mine that I tattoo fairly regularly, and he's a professional pickleball player. And I was just like, no way. I was like, we were talking about it, and I was just like, that's freaking awesome. Like, yeah, even like the high school sports and stuff, and like the college sports, and I don't know. I think that the stuff that they're doing right now is just it's awesome. I think it's completely different from what everybody else is doing.
They
And
carved on a niche for themselves in a very different way because they provide something that Panini doesn't provide and
yep,
Topps doesn't provide. And Panini does a little bit of the crossover stuff with their manga cards and but like the Anime Nation stuff is just such a different vibe. It's such a different vibe, and even like Vivid Baseball and Vivid Soccer and all that stuff. It's such a different vibe of a
yep,
card. And Pop Century is it's a celebrity thing and celebrity autos, which are really cool depending on who it is.
right,
But then the other one that we could talk about is this right here because I think you put this up.
yep,
So I have my opinions on him, and I'm disappointed because if he was still playing, the Browns would be winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
right.
That's how I feel. But what is this? Metallic Imagination.
I believe it was a I believe it was a commission through Leaf. So, yeah, I don't know, not 100% sure how all that works, but I was told that I could share the artwork or whatever. But I believe that that was just like a commission type thing.
Because I don't remember ever seeing it. That's why
Yeah.
that I remember seeing a bunch of stuff. I just never remember seeing that one. That's what I was just curious about because
Right.
it's fun, it's cool. If that thing is
Right.
like shiny and hollow, I would buy one. It's a lot of fun. But then again, sometimes you miss things, which is okay. But like that, I was just curious because again, it's a fun card where he's on a lot of money and drinking. And if you know anything about sports, you know who he is.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm just saying that talent but a waste is all I'm gonna say.
Right.
But
But
yeah.
yeah,
So, are you
go ahead.
saying?
Go ahead.
Oh no, you go. This isn't
I
about me.
I don't even know what I was gonna say now.
I don't know what I was going to say either. So we're in the same position here. But because the reason why I bring all this up is that like these aren't like this is why I think it's so interesting with Leaf Metal and what you're doing and the fact that you're going to have 36 to potentially like 100 cards coming out with Leaf Metal over the next year that aren't sketches.
Right.
And like that's what's cool is that this is a cool section and subsection and there's going to be people who have these cards now. And then if you're at a convention or you're doing something, people might get this stuff, graded and want to get it signed at
Right. Yeah.
PSA. Because I'm now starting to see that on the con scene that people are getting Anime Nation stuff graded and signed by players and by other people and by the artists and even
Mhm.
like Metallic and all that stuff. Because if you have a low number card, I mean, it's a cool thing. And
Yep.
so, like, that's why I think this is so interesting is that I think in the next year, as this stuff starts coming out, all of a sudden you're going to be somewhere and say, like, hey, could you sign my card? And like,
Right.
because it's not because a sketch card is already signed. Like,
Yeah. I've had a little bit of that already. I think it was I don't even remember what year it was. But I did what was that? I did a base card for one of the Star Wars sets. I did like a Jar Jar Binks and Yeah, that was cool. I still get people that will like message me and like ask if they can. Yep, that one. And they'll message me or whatever. I actually had the other day the tattoo shop that I work at, Copper Coin, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, the guy had sent the card to the shop. I like coming to work and like sitting on my booth is his envelope, and his nice guy like wrote a letter and everything and asked if I could sign it for him. And so I've
Are
seen
you
that
one of those
happen.
people? Are you one of those people that sends a letter back and says, "I don't sign for free"? I'm at the stage in my career that I don't sign for free.
Oh no, I sign it.
There are a few people who do that, who are wrestlers and like actors, and they'll send that. And my response back to that always is saying, "Look, if somebody took the time to find your address and do
Right.
that, maybe you should just sign their card or
Yep.
whatever they want. Like, because if somebody really took the time to do that and
Oh
track you
yeah.
down, that's all I'm gonna say on that point.
Yeah. No, I don't mind. And then, like yeah, this past year, like I said, a lot's changed, and I think one of the other things that we didn't touch base on was Star Wars Card Trader app. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like
I
the
may,
digital it's like digital card trader app or whatever. Um, but I've been doing art for them as well now.
yeah, you got Boba Fett.
Yep, I've done Boba Fett. I did Ahsoka. Yep, I did Chira Imwe. Um, there's a few of them. I think there's one that's not even out yet. Um, but yeah, those are fun too. Get to work on a little bigger scale, um, which is nice. Like like that Ahsoka. I think that the original of that was like a 5x7. So yeah, which is
Yeah,
still, I mean, on the smaller end, but definitely when you're used to working on like 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards, doing something on a 5x7 is just like it's like you have all the room in the world. But then
I
yeah,
can't even
like
imagine.
even with the stuff for like Leaf though, like you know, doing those, I mean, getting to work digitally, on my iPad, and like there's just so much crazier stuff I can do on those than, like on a sketch card. So
I
it's
would also imagine with the Leaf stuff, you also have a lot more, I think, creative freedom to a degree
oh yeah.
because it's expected to
Yep.
to to like we'll use the Otani for example. He's dressed as a samurai, right? Like
Hmm.
you can never do that on Tops's card with Otani.
Right.
It's just you can never do that but like you can go and I mean I don't know we'll pull up the things again right here because they're out. Like you have Tim Tebow doing Tim Tebow stuff, and then I forget who's who on this.
Dante Moore and Malachi Tony.
I just don't know who's who. I don't know which is which. I'm sorry. Like my college football stuff is just not
Right.
not there. I'm
Right.
sorry, but I think one of them, the guy who's on Miami, I know his jersey, like he's in a tornado, right? Like a hurricane, like the Miami Hurricanes, right? Like that's what makes the card fun, right?
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing is that like there's just a lot more fun stuff. That's why I like this stuff, right? Because you could do some trippy shit here that
Yep.
you wouldn't normally be able to do. It's great.
Right. Yep.
But I digress. I don't want to push you anymore on this, but I say James Harden should be in every single one of those sets moving forward. James Harden, oh my God, he's gonna make me so much money tomorrow. Um, Anytime James Harden plays more than 5 minutes, the Knicks are gonna win. Can we trade James Harden to the Spurs or Oklahoma too in the middle of the playoffs? That'd be great if we could. I'm sorry, I'm a Knicks fan. I've been waiting all my life for this. It's terrible. Oh my God, just the 7 minute miracle. In the fourth quarter, I want to make this crystal clear. The Knicks had a 0.1% chance of winning that game.
All
The
right.
Cavaliers were an evil empire. The Knicks were a suppressed people. How do you lose with a setup like that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. If I understand, let me put it this way. I understand that you're in Michigan. If this was a Piston situation, I would turn down the jokes, but it's not a Michigan team. I understand your Pistons were whatever. They got a problem, and we don't have to break down the Pistons here for you live. But they just need better players around Cade Cunningham. He's the real deal, and they just don't have the units around him. That's the problem with the Pistons. That's it in a nutshell. It's not coaching. It's they just don't have the horses around Cade Cunningham. That's it. That's the problem. That's the whole problem. Get 2 or 3 guys around Cade Cunningham. The Pistons will be a dominating force for the next 5 years. But I don't want to talk about that because I do want to talk about it, and I want to ask you where you think this whole sketch card and card creations and the card market is going, because you're a part of it. I buy and sell cards. My opinion is from a consumer business level, and I'm curious where you see it from an art level going.
Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, because even like when I started, I wouldn't have seen this coming. So it's yeah, I'm assuming it's going to get crazier before it either. I don't know. I honestly,
Let me ask you this, in which that do you feel that there's going to be more like sketch card stuff out there? There's going to be, more interesting designs. There's going to be more opportunity for artists to do stuff. And I'll ask as well as that I don't know the digital platform per se, but I know that's a growing sector too, like crazy. And that's relatively new. And so I mean, I'm just curious what you think because that's also a sector where I have no idea because I like to hold my cards. I mean,
right,
I like to. I'm weird in which that I'm not saying I like to physically smell them, but like I want to touch my card, right?
right, yeah.
I don't know if that makes
That
sense.
was one of the weird things with doing the Star Wars ones. The card trader app was like, to me, like I got on there and I like started messing with it and made sure like the days that like my cards came out to do it and try to get my cards. But other than that, like to me, it's just kind of it's a strange situation.
Because I've tried.
I don't ever spend money on it or anything like that. Like I just like I'll go on there and fiddle with it a little bit, but yeah, I need a physical copy, or like I need to be able to
I
hold it.
like to hold my cards, man. Like, I like to hold my cards, right? And I think there's something to be said about that, right? I live in a digital world. This is a digital product by nature, like what
Right.
we're doing right now. But it's still human. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to explain it any other way. Where it's digitally distributed, digitally produced, essentially. But I'm talking to another human being
Right.
through the internet, right?
Yep.
So it's a weird one, but like I want to hold my card. I don't really care if it's graded or not. I still want to hold something because
Right.
there's a lot of stuff you can't hold. I can't hold my stocks.
Right.
I can't hold my cryptocurrency. I can hold a card. I can hold a comic. I can hold a Pop Funko. And I think
Right.
there's something to be said about holding something or at least seeing it. Like
Yep.
I'm physically holding a water bottle here, right? Like
Right.
there's something to be said about that. So
Yep.
that's how I feel. But I was just curious because I buy and sell a lot of cards, and good, bad, and different, right?
Right.
It's a lot. I
Yep.
probably this year I'm probably going to sell probably like 10,000 cards easy. Um,
Nuts.
yeah, I have a problem. I have a problem. The best part is when you sell 1,000 cards to the same person all in the same package.
See, I always have a problem selling stuff. It's like especially like with comic books, I, like I buy stuff and stuff that I never even read, but like I have to have it and I have to at least like flip through it or, like, I don't know. I just,
I'm one of those people. I'm a rare comic hunter, and I'm a rare comic card hunter, and a rare comic hunter. And every once in a while, because of my business, I get across rare books dirt cheap. I
yep.
mean, dirt cheap.
Hmm.
Oh, oh my God! Just. I have one of the WWE books that people want, and I bought it significantly undervalued, significantly. And I was having a bad day, and I made an offer that I thought was fair, and it was, and the person accepted it. And oh my God, did I underpay for that thing? And it's never leaving my collection, never.
Right.
But there's other stuff that I'm like, I don't care about it, and I don't have a problem selling it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like, I got no problem selling things, no problem if the price is right.
Right. Oh
But
yeah. I mean, I've been in situations where I've, like one of the, I ended up getting like a printing plate of Anakin signed by Hayden Christensen, and it was, yeah, one of one printing plate, and got it out of a pack, and I held on to that thing for so long, and then it was like, damn, I need some money.
yeah, see, I'm so different, right? Like there's stuff. So I don't know how you collect, but I'll tell you how I collect, right? So I go and I look at something and I'm like, I don't need. I create like three or four different, I guess, boxes, and so I pick something up and I pull something out of a bag. I pulled the Paige Bucher's limited 75 her playing for Yukon Auto, like blue crystal, right? So
Mhm.
what happened with that is that it's like a $1,200 card, and I'm like, yeah, it's not ever leaving my collection,
Right.
and I don't need to sell it. But then, like my 70 Care, which I have,
Mhm.
which is this card right here for those who are interested, probably never leaving my collection. But then I bought this card, right? My Diana
Mhm.
Taurasi 101, her retirement card. Bought it 23 minutes later, sold it. Didn't even have it. Sold it before I had it.
Nice.
Bought it for three, sold it for $1,000 in 23 minutes or less. What was I sad when I sold it and it left and I knew I was never going to get it again? Yeah, sure. But I bought it to sell it, right? And
Right.
that's part of this is that I'm going to buy things to sell because I'm a business.
Right.
And after fees and everything, like a $450 profit. So like
Yeah.
my Page Sneakers, I like that card a lot. I like my WWE book. I like that Stephanie Care a lot. But like there's 15 other cards that I don't care about, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And I have emotion to it. But then there's stuff for my personal collection. Like I bought a bunch of, the Ultraman Series 4 stuff, right? I have a
Mhm.
whole collection of that, and I have hot packs that I bought where sketches were in there. And I was like, great. Like, I don't want to sell any of this, and I don't need to. There's a
Right.
million other things I could sell. A
Yep.
million other things. And like that's how I feel. But everyone, and also I don't know how you feel, but if the deal's not right, my gut tells me, and I just walk away.
Right.
I walk
Yep.
I walked away today from something. I said, you know what, this deal doesn't feel right to me. I'm not touching it. I'm gonna regret this decision. So I'm not doing it. I'm not
Right.
doing it. And that was the end of that discussion. And I felt so much better when I made that call.
Right.
But
Yep.
that's enough about me. Because this show is not about me. This is not about me. That's tomorrow. Me yelling at the Knicks to score some baskets. They're not gonna go and do a 22 point again. I almost had a heart attack last night. I want to make the crystal clear here. The amount of money I had on that game. Oh my God! Just never again. Never again. Oh, this is, by the way, the fourth time they've done this season. Oh my God. Just miraculous, beautiful. The sky today was orange and blue, but no thank you. I just want them to win by 40 points. That's all I need. Just either lose by 40 or win by 40. I don't want the turmoil. But I digress because obviously, I know you can't say certain things. But what do you have coming out that you can promote or that people should be on the lookout for or hinting at or anything of that nature? Or should people every week be looking at Leaf Metal for the new drops for these Anime Nation Series 3s that are probably coming every week or every other week?
I would just say follow my socials. I can't really say what's coming out. There's stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff coming. But yeah, follow my socials. I believe there's a few things coming out in June. So
what are your socials? So what is your Instagram, Twitter, website? I put your website in there so people could go check that out. It's in the description.
my Instagram and Twitter are just Darth Maldo Art. So
basically, just follow his Instagram, and you'll be informed of everything that's dropping. And you should just put Leaf Metal in your favorites, and you should just check every day. Right. That'll solve every problem for you. Every problem. As far as getting your Leaf Metal cards, because depending on who it is, it can drop. If there's a Caitlin Clark in there, that thing's gonna sell out in a minute. I promise. Right. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there's not. You do not have to answer that. But if it's a Caitlin Clark in there, that thing's going to sell out. The Fernando Mendoza sold out. He was paired with Sophie Cunningham and Sonia Citron. And oh my God, you put Sophie Cunningham and Fernando Mendoza in a freaking Series 2 of Anime Nation. Oh, that thing just sold out within like 20 minutes. It was sick.
Yeah, there's some big ones coming. But yeah, like even then, I don't even know like release dates or anything like that. So I kind of find out, well, at least this last time I kind of found out last minute. I have
nobody should quote me, but I think there's a few days left on this one if it doesn't sell out. Because they have the Leaf Metal tells you the when it will end, which is a nice addition, by the way, on their website. So they won't tell you when it'll drop. They'll tell you when it will end, which is very helpful because that gives me an idea of when I should buy it. Right. If I don't feel there's any pressure. Nothing against Tim Tebow, but Tim Tebow doesn't make me get out of my bed. Now if he was batting for the Mets, that'd be a different discussion. So he did play double-A ball for them.
Yep.
A while ago. That it was great. It was great. He did all right. He wanted to play baseball. It was great. But I digress. This is my show. I'm going to promote my stuff before we end. So I am Pop Anime Comics on the Twitter / the X. I definitely tweet a lot about basketball sports. I get very creative. Every once in a while, I get kicked off. I did get my account almost got permanently suspended because I criticized Carlos Mendoza. So if you do not want your account suspended on Twitter, don't criticize the Mets and you'll be fine. I just said that he needed to be fired and that it was lock in the sock time. And apparently Twitter was not a fan of it. I also might have used other creative verbiage, but I didn't think I was out of line. Not think I was out of line because they lost 20 in a row, and I thought I was justified, and a bunch of other people also thought I was justified. But apparently, we found out that Twitter / X is a Met fan. So who knew? Who knew? Elon is rooting for the Mets. Who knew? Boy. I didn't know, but you now know. I suffered, so you don't have to. Let's go Mets. Every other team. I said the same thing about Aaron Boone. Twitter, totally fine. Totally fine. Twitter X, no problem. In fact, they promoted it for free. But if you criticize the Mets, you're screwed.
Right.
I'm just saying. So let's go Mets. They're the greatest team. They're going to win every World Series from here to Kingdom Come, and we're good. And Ohtani is nothing. He's nothing against the Mets. I just want to make that crystal clear. The overlords from X / Twitter are watching. I'm good. So Instagram, Pop Anime Comics. That's my Instagram. A lot of fun stuff's there going on. My other thing is Pop Anime Comics. So definitely check that out on Facebook, YouTube. Please subscribe. I appreciate every subscriber. We're trying to get into 950 by the end of the year. We got 7 months to do it. I think it's possible, maybe even 8 technically, but I believe we can get another 25. So if you want to make me feel warm and fuzzy on Christmas, let's get to 950 subscribers, and I think it can be done. I think it can be done here. I think it's a small goal, and we can all do it as a team. We mean a lot. TikTok's a big deal. I am Pop Anime Comics on TikTok. A lot of fun stuff there as well. And then I run a little.
I'm Darth Maldo Studios.
What'd you say?
I said I'm Darth Maldo Studios on TikTok.
There you go. Right, TikTok's fun. I'm gonna go find you on TikTok after I'm done here because I love TikTok. It's so much fun, right? But then I'm serious about this. So TikTok's amazing, guys. You should follow people on TikTok. It's the American thing to do. But anyway, my eBay store is Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. Look for comics and collectibles. Come shop with us on eBay. And I sell books like this in my store. I do sell a lot of leaf metal stuff. So this is my John Cena. I have a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in there. I got an Aaron Rodgers. I got Corbin Carroll's in there. I got some Otani stuff in there. I carry a lot of Panini cards for those who are interested. I carry a lot of Angel Reese. So that comes across, and I do carry a lot of WWE. So stuff like this comes across in my store. Stuff like this is sometimes in my store, which are really cool, rare Topps cards. This is in my store, and I do carry a lot of autographs like this in my store. But this one is not for sale. This is a personal collection, but it will be in my store if I choose to sell it, and it will go there first. I'm just going to let everybody know that I'm going to be asking about $1,000 for it if it's ever in my eBay store. So definitely it's an expensive thing for everybody. And I've been saying it a long time on eBay is that, first of all, if you're looking for comps and cards, go to my eBay store, scroll through it, if you're looking for stuff, see if you can find it there, look through it. If you don't see it, shoot me a message on eBay because I may have it. If I have it, I'll list it. If I don't have it, I'm more than happy to direct you to the right place so you can get what you want, because I know a lot of people in comics and in cards, and my colleagues, acquaintances sometimes carry what I don't carry, and I carry what they don't carry sometimes. And so I refer business out to people when I can. And if I don't have something, happy to refer business out. So that's my whole thing with all that. And that's pretty much everything I got going on. And on that note, I'm going to give you the final word.
Well, whoever's out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's perfect. And obviously I'm grateful and I'm happy. And I don't think I could have said that any better myself. And that is a wrap.